think there's a lot of people out there who are scared by AI, but also excited by it. I think the best way to stay on top of it is to be educated about it.
When you think of startups, you think of Silicon Valley. We're going to venture beyond the valley and paint a picture of the startup ecosystem and the innovation that happens right here on Gadigal land of the Eora Nation in New South Wales. We're going to feature diverse founders, investors and operators and hear about their origin stories that shaped them, highlights, lowlights, best practice and their visions for the future. Join me as we get a front seat to witness the phenomenal role of these startup superstars. This special live series of Startup Palette Show is proudly supported by Investment New South Wales. Investment New South Wales drives economic growth and prosperity for the people of New South Wales by bringing together business, government and priority markets to deliver on the government's strategic priorities and boost the state's innovation, industry, investment and trade. We would also like to thank Nakatomi, a venture studio for founders. If you have an ambitious idea that needs to be accelerated, Nakatomi are your people. They'll help you scale your business faster than you can on your own by providing you a best-in-class in-house team of strategists, designers, and engineers to help you validate, develop, and launch your bold ideas with confidence and imagination. If you have a promising pitch, reach out and say NiceTo sent you. Let's get started. Welcome to NiceTo's Startup Palette Show Live.
So exciting to have you here. I feel like I've been watching your journey and every year is just an amazing new thing. So congrats.
Thank you.
How did it feel to be named Forbes 30 under 30?
Very surreal, I think. Yeah, definitely was Lisa. Very grateful to.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood and what's one key story that stands out for you?
Childhood, like pretty vanilla for any little like Asian girl growing up. Parents were immigrants from China, very much like tiger parent type of surnames. All of our siblings worked pretty hard, did like piano and violin, and it was all very academic, right? And well, hard work was instilled into us from a very young age. We did things like art classes. Not many people know that I did that. Every Sunday, very disciplined. We would sit down and go to art classes for 5 hours every day. I think that was pretty character forming. In the beginning, to be honest, I was like really shit at art. Very bad. Drawing. But then just like going there every single weekend really taught me that if you just keep doing things, you'll get good at it. So I ended up like selling artwork. Actually like teaching art classes like in high school. So that was a very transformative.
If we'd known, we would have done a mind versus machine with the art. Next time in university, you were saying you started art classes and that was one of your first businesses?
Actually, it was in primary school.
Of course.
Every lunchtime, I gather like a small group of like maybe 4 to 5 people and just teach them how to draw and make them pay me like $10. So it was like a good first business to start off with.
And the school teachers didn't have a problem with that, especially the art teachers.
They never found out. Luckily.
Community's kind of been in your blood since the beginning.
Growing up in primary school and high school in particular, I was like a very shy child, and I think led a lot into the close friendships I had, which have really shaped who I became. And then probably in university is when I started to lean more into like community building and like, using that almost both to find friends and have a sense of belonging and being surrounded by people who were like similar to me. So it was actually like in uni bumped into someone called like Julia Wells. So she had lived in SF, was like really into startups, and she inspired me a lot to I think probably when I started doing the art classes. And then in university, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I studied accounting scholarship degree. And I got sucked into the corporate world. So I actually ended up working in corporate, I think, for 4 years. So from first year of uni, got an internship at Westpac, more in business. But then got pretty lucky, I'd say, and got put in internal, almost startup team where they were building the web app internally. And I was like a business analyst on that team. And then because the whole team was just like devs, they taught me a lot about technology. And then I started learning Python and SQL on the side. And then my earliest manager at Westpac started his own advanced analytics data science team inside Westpac. And then he poached me into that team. And then that's when I started to get really into data science and AI, which we then come back to later in my career. But I think that was pretty transformative I still didn't really know what I wanted to do after 3 years at Westpac. So typically just went into consulting where you get to experience like a bit of everything. And I think getting to work in really big companies where you see people solving multi-million-dollar problems was like pretty inspiring during consulting. Tried a lot of different things, and then after consulting went to venture capital where we founded BuildClub.
What was your experience like working in venture capital before BuildClub started?
I just went into it with eyes open. The BC firm I joined called Aura Ventures. It was a pretty small firm, so I was like the only associate on it. And the reason why I really like that firm is so you can like do what you need to do. As an associate, your main role is to generate deal flow, so find and identify really good founders, build a relationship with them, and ideally invest in them. And there's many ways you could do that. So I really like the challenge of having to like solve that and something which I could own. So for me, that was leaning more into my data science background and AI and also community too.
And so what were the origins of BuildClub? What was the first BuildClub actually like?
My first BuildClub, I think, was actually just run out of a Starbucks cafe on a Sunday. It was just like myself, my friend Kevin, who is like a software engineer, and then two of our friends who were in Sydney from the US. And I think around that time, the ChatGPT hype wave was like just starting and everyone was like really excited by the tools and also like pretty scared, to be honest. And all of us were like pretty ambitious people and just like love to tinker on things. But at that time, we didn't have a place to go to do it. And I guess working by yourself on the weekend does get pretty lonely. So originally we just started it every Sunday working from a Starbucks cafe. And then gradually it grew bigger and bigger. I think there's a lot of people out there who are scared by AI, but also excited by it. I think the best way to stay on top of it is to be educated about it.
So how many builders are there now? Ballpark.
Probably 5,000.
BuildClub exists in many countries. How many countries?
I think
We should ask AI this.
we stopped counting, but I know we're in over 20 cities around the world.
How do you scale communities? Because community is not an easy thing to scale, but you have quite successfully with BuildClub.
I'd say we're still, to be honest, trying to figure it out. I think scaling communities is a very hard problem to solve because obviously as a community grows bigger, density of talent and what people originally connected on dilutes a lot. And at the same time, the vision and purpose of the community changes. So it's definitely still something we're like trying to work through. So when we first started BuildClub, we kept it very small for a very long time and we kept it super specific. So only technical software engineers could join essentially. But with time, we realized that we couldn't reach as many people or impact as many people. So we started broadening it to also just anyone that wanted to learn and build, because now with AIs, anyone can build. Failing it is still something we're working through. I think our biggest uplift we have in memberships at the moment is just through referrals. And then with our city leads, we have a playbook, which we give to them, almost it's like a handbook, which they use to run their communities. And then we have like regular catch-ups with them too.
And because communities are hard to scale, you've now raised 1.8 million to launch BuildClub as a Duolingo for AI. Tell us more about that.
I think BuildClub, we started out purely as a community, very split across many systems like Slack. And then you have the giant debate of, do we use Discord or do we use Slack? And then you have your events on Loomer and then maybe a random WhatsApp group. So I think we were finding it very hard to continue to scale just as a pure community. So we're like, and at the same time, a lot of our members wanted things which we couldn't provide because I was literally just doing BuildClub on like nights and weekends. I think a lot of the problems could be solved through building platform, which is what we're now building. There's 3 key pillars to B2 of BuildClub. So we have learning, because we realized that a lot of people were actually joining BuildClub just to learn AI, because there's a whole new wave of technology with that. We had the cloud revolution, where there's like a whole skill set to learn mobile development, and now there's AI. So a lot of people come to BuildClub to learn. So we have built, similar to like Udemy, a gamified e-learning platform for that. And then the second pillar is we realized that like it's great that people can learn, but then what do they do like after they learn? And that links into what we call like a bounty marketplace, which is almost when you get good enough at building, there's a whole plethora of companies out there who really hair on fire, really want AI services. So we pair top AI engineers to companies, almost like on a gig marketplace for AI projects. But underneath all of it, there's always the community layer. So we have the platform.
You have your hackathons as well as the bounties. Are there any favorite things that have come out of either of those that you think, oh, that's really cool, I wish I thought of that?
I'd say hackathons are definitely like some of our favorite events to run. What we've started to do with them is actually partner with real companies with real problems, and then we get all the AI engineers in our community to hack for them on their problem. So last week we partnered with Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is doing the whole refresh for their product roadmap to infuse AI into that. And with that, they just wanted jump-started a whole bunch of proof of concepts for the AI roadmap. So there were a lot of very cool innovations which came out of it because you've actually provided data sets and very specific problem statements. One of the coolest ones was like someone built in the 24 hours avatar where it would impersonate the person who would want health treatment and it would act as their future self. So when they were being really unhealthy, it would show the old man version of themselves, telling them to eat healthier.
Wow, what a way to kick you into shame.
So yeah, there's a hack.
And the topic is winning in AI. What have you seen as some of the companies that have spun out of BuildClub where you see them getting some traction and some goals?
With AI, because it's so fast moving, it's honestly very hard to tell who will win in it all. I know verticalized B2B fast, very, very popular in Australia. I'd say with BuildClub, we still run accelerators for top builders in our community. And from our first season, more than 50% of the cohort have helped now raise like VC rounds.
That's great stats.
Yeah. And then 2 people recently got into Y Combinator too from our cohort. And what we're seeing like them build is they just have a very deep understanding of like, a very specific topic area. And they iterate a lot, like constantly. The team that got into Y Combinator in the latest batch, like 1 month ago, they had a completely different product. And then they did a lot of testing sessions with different builders in our community. And then what they applied with was a very similar area, but different pieces. But showing that you're like learning very quickly, I think is how people do well.
And there's a bit of a bridge to build between the commercialization of AI and the building. And so how do you bridge that, or how have you seen successful companies bridge that?
I'd say it's like a pretty mixed approach and depends on the size of the company. Usually from what we've seen, companies tend to do like proof of concepts first to prove business value quickly, especially if it's a larger company getting manager buy-in. So they do things like internal hackathons and also even just hiring a contractor for a small period of time. And then after that, a lot of companies are now starting to procure organization level SaaS licenses for AI products. So for example, even just Copilot for engineering teams or ChatGPT Enterprise. Where we're seeing a very sweet spot at the moment is companies are buying all these licenses, but then at the same time, the employees of the company, a lot of them very scared of AI and don't even know what ChatGPT is or how it works. And a big part of what we're doing with BuildClub is trying to, at scale, upskill employees on those tools.
Great. And in terms of your vision for BuildClub and also for AI, where would you like to see both head?
I'd say like a big dream, big picture for BuildClub is empowering like the world to build. We think AI is crazy exciting. And the best way to do that is by democratizing and enabling everyone to build. So that's our dream big vision. I think the 2 specific pain points we're addressing are AI education and then also AI adoption inside.
And if there's anyone here who wants to jump on, doesn't have an AI or an engineering background, what are some tools you'd recommend?
ChatGPT is a good one. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. Like a hack I started to do is just every time you want to use Google for something, use ChatGPT instead or like Perplexity. And that is actually, it's like super interesting because you can always like talk to it and get like a very exact answer for what you want. And if you're non-technical, there's a lot of low-code tool builders out there now. So I guess one pretty impressive one that came out of Texas, I think in Canada, we randomly stumbled across this called Run There. And you can create like little AIs like in your Slack using low code. And I literally made one for BuildClub in like less than 10 minutes. So I think it's pretty exciting the things you can do.
AI in less than 10 minutes sounds great. How much of your life did you create, curate, or chance one?
It's a very hard question to answer. I think personally, for me, I'm someone that doesn't really like uncertainty. So I try to control as many things as possible. So I think a large part of my life has been trying to create and push for things. And then I'm a very community-driven person, so a little bit has been trying to curate that environment around me which is allowed me to. I was probably more heavily indexing towards the first two.
The first two. Great. Thank you so much, Annie.
Thanks for tuning in to the Startup Power Show. If you had a blast listening to this episode, come on board and join our incredible cheer squad. Spread the startup love by sharing the episode with your friends, leave us a review, or drop us your valuable feedback, comments, or burning questions. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll shine the spotlight on another startup superstar. I'm Preeti Mohan, and I look forward to seeing you next time.